What's that? My scars? So then, my boy, you've taken an interest in them. Aye, they do come with quite a story. Let me show you. See how they cover my whole back? It's more than that, the damn things appear on my whole body, neck to toe. Only my face is clear of 'em. You may even notice that the skin on my right hand is significantly darker than that of my left. Usually I'm all bundled up so that I don't have to show these marks. But it's just as well that it's too hot today for such a thing. You did me no wrong by asking, lad. You were bound to find out sooner or later, and it's best that you hear it from someone that knows what they're talking about. Far better that you hear it from me than your mother. She doesn't need to be reminded of that incident. You've grown up with ghost stories, even told some of your own around the campfire, when the sun is so low on the horizon that you only know it's there by the redness in the clouds. You always thought they were pure fiction, something only thought up as a form of art. That's largely true, but what you haven't learned yet is that some art serves as a warning, not of some cacodemoniacal leviathan thought up by someone with the free time, but a very real threat, which could do a lot more than leave some marks on your body. You know that your mother and I have been together for nigh on 15 years. About a year and a half into our relationship, we were both promising young students. She had a preference for law and history, while I was always more inclined to the sciences, biology in particular. She, being something of an antiquarian, relished the thought of traveling to England and witnessing its Gothic splendor. Just imagine it. Peaked roofs, wrought iron fences, flying buttresses. Gargoyles, lad, gargoyles! Ha! Such a speech from her I did receive, and 'twas that what convinced me to leave the safety of our quaint little town and travel to shadowy England. Now I don't hold what happened against her, and you'd better not either. It was in the winter that we arrived, and damn if it wasn't cold. It never snowed, mind ye, but the nightly fog felt as if it were from dry ice rather than water. The fog's what I remember best of this occurrence, as it pervaded every bit of our stay. For the first 3 days we ran around as happy little tourists, seeing all that there was to see. The third night it was that Beth, your mother, had taken me off the beaten path. She had found a road she wanted to travel on, a certain Purity Street, which was rather narrow but led past an old Victorian house. The house was like the assembled skeleton of a dinosaur. Naught but dusty old bones now, but from the mere shape of it, from the arch of the broken windows, and the masterfully carven mahogany which made its timbers, from the fence which walled off the garden and the stairs leading up to the front door with its golden knocker, there was a certain dignity to behold, and the knowledge that what we now looked upon was once something truly majestic. I didn't have much time to consider the house itself, though. As I stared up at the attic window, in which I fancied I saw a flash of light, your mother turned right around and pulled me into a kiss. It wasn't my first, but there's something uniquely stimulating to the soul about a kiss delivered in such a place. The fog on her lips, you see, was as cool and refreshing as wind blown down from boreal mountains. I digress. What's important here is not the kiss, but what comes after. It was then that I felt a sort of cold that contrasted, nay, overwhelmed winter's chill. What I felt was something that didn't lower the temperature of my body, but instead that of my soul. That light in the window flashed again. A brilliant green, as if the light were filtered through stained glass. That damnable light was condensing, taking form right before my very eyes. It was almost like a hand pressed against the windowsill. It was this sight which made me pull your mother back. "We need to go," I says, and she looks about ready to protest, but she must have seen the terror in my eyes, because I didn't hear a word of it. I gripped her arm with every ounce of my strength. Our flight through Purity Street and deeper into the capillaries of the city was most frantic, but we made it in total silence. Your mother knows I am anything but fanciful, and that if anything scared me that badly, it was with damn good reason. We found our way to the boarding house, and it was only there that I revealed to your mother what I saw. She believed me even then, and I struggled to fall asleep, even in her arms. The next morning I awoke to a chill. Burying myself under blanket after blanket, I was just barely able to stave it off. Beth seemed confused at first, but gets to thinking maybe it's some kind of curse from last night. She wants to go to a library and read up on what might have happened on Purity Street to evoke such a haunting. And I've already half a mind to do just that. Finding any real accounts proved quite difficult, but we're mostly through some half-baked legend about a maid jilted by her lover when the chill comes back. I feel something familiar, but in all the wrong ways. Looking down, I see a hand resting on mine. It's all white, with that somewhat greenish deathlight. But what really scares me is that only the hand bothered to show up. I set to hollering and jumping around, but the hand grabs on real tight, and I can't quite get it off. It starts pulling me to the door, and Beth jumps up after me and tries to pull, but that hand only keeps going, fit to tear my arm clean off. I tell her we're both going back to Purity Street, and at this your mother obliges. I asked her later why, and she told me, if that ghost wouldn't leave you alone, I'd give her what for. The hand also kinda obliges, relaxing its grip and leading me back to that accursed house. Oh, that house. What once seemed a skeleton was now full of life, the light present in all the broken windows, as if some beast with 12 eyes was what threatened to consume me now. Oh, pit of Satan! Oh, nightmare incarnate! The hand dragged me now, faster than my legs could carry me. It took all of Beth's strength to make it in before invisible forces closed and sealed the door. Even then, I had already been flung up the stairs as if I were falling in reverse, and she was left to climb with her own tired legs. The attic is where it done happened. She was there, the maid from the fairy tale, little apron and everything. Though all was moth-eaten. I could tell she wanted to hide it, but even her skin had partially rotted, all wet and sticky, and barely clinging to the rancid meat that passed for her flesh. Her hand abandoned me and reattached to her body with a particularly nauseating squelch. She reached out, all tender-like, and let me tell you, boy, I found myself wanting a new pair of pants. Had me jumping back like one of the little fluffy spiders you see out in the yard. She leaned in close, and it took all I had not to collapse. Her lips met my neck, and though she only touched the one spot, I felt the burn of frostbite all over. 'Twas the kiss of death, lad, and it marked my body and soul alike. This finally brought me down, as I could feel the life being sapped through that mark on my neck. There, helpless on the ground, I lay. And she wasted no time in opening up more marks upon me. I felt old, a man on his last years. I knew I wouldn't last until sundown. Just then, your mother makes it up those stairs, and I rock my head back to look at her. "Save me," I says, And I can even hear just what that damned devil's done to me. Now, you know your mother's never been the physical type, but that don't stop her one bit. She runs up on us and plants her foot right in that ghost's mouth. Kicks her head clean off. Ha! Give that ghost what for, all right. I can see the ghost's face after this, too. She's crying. That green death light around her fades, and the ghost vanishes. Just like that. Ghosty could have gotten back up and kept on fighting. But even if she'd taken my life, my heart belongs to your mother and no other. Reckon she figured that out the hard way. That's all the ghostly stuff now. But I'm still facing a very real threat here. Because patches of skin all over my body have turned blacker than the night of the new moon. I go in to see a doctor real quick like, and he tells me what I'd figured he would. Cell necrosis, he calls it. And the long and short is that I need new skin everywhere she touched me. They do this surgical thing called debridement, which means removing the dead stuff. Hell, I'm lucky it didn't go deeper than that. Might have had to lop some things clean off. Ah, but I done told you all the interesting stuff already. Now you know how I got my scars, and you know to be extra careful with the supernatural. Because ghost stories are just stories, until you live through one. Hello, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day. So I figured I'd try my hand at a little love story, and that's what you get. So yeah, real sweet, real heartwarming, and recently someone called me a wise mentor who died for character development. And quite frankly, that is one of the finest compliments I have ever received. Oh, I've got some things for you. But that will be later. That will be later. For now, you have this little appetizer. And I will see you in the next one.